Welcome to Dear Alice, a lifestyle approach to interior design.
Hi everyone, welcome to Dear Alice. Today we are going to be talking about doors.
I cannot wait.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
How long I've been waiting to talk about doors.
How long I've been waiting to talk about doors.
For real.
It's kind of fun because it's holiday, right?
Mhm.
We're going to be celebrating Christmas. Those of you that celebrate next Thursday. I'm sorry, this is the Thursday before Christmas.
Yes.
So I don't know. I kind of picture the wreath on the front door and right. It's kind of your face to the world. I feel like you're always looking for the front door when you're driving by a house.
It's the thing that everyone notices about your home,
I feel
good
like
or bad.
when we're
probably.
looking at a set of plans, I'm always like, where's the front door? I got to get myself.
Orient me.
Yes. Yeah. And when you can't find the door easily, you're like, this is a garbage plan.
Oh,
It's
man.
broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went
Totally.
to a house over the weekend. It was the situation where the front door is like around where you kind of pull into, and I was like, that's crazy to me. But
Just like
Right?
in the man door.
yeah,
Like,
I guess I'm gonna knock on your kitchen window. I don't know.
Oh, good
But
times.
before we get into that,
Yeah.
the holidays coming up. I want to know you guys' Christmas plans or traditions, whatever. Thought, talk about that.
Well, if I must, I love Christmas. I love Christmas traditions. I love food. So again, all these things tailor around a holiday, which is fantastic. I have these little kids that are so cute. So the elf is in full swing.
Mm.
Been doing that for every night.
Bless you.
Along with
That's
Santa
a
Claus,
part-time
any children
job.
that are listening. It's not
Yes.
me, I swear. But it's really fun. Like Christmas with children is really, really fun. And like the older they get, the more they get into it, which has been really, really exciting. But tradition wise, every year we make peanut brittle. Like my mom, it's like my grandpa's recipe that he made when he was alive. And
It's amazing, by the way.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like, peanut brittle, usually it'll break your teeth, right? This stuff is like carbonated. It is good.
Mhm.
Anyway, so my aunts, my sister, there's kids running around. We're usually doing that like on a Saturday before Christmas, which is so fun. And we take it to all of our neighbors.
Oh,
And then, and then Aunt Annie Spudnuts. My mom makes donuts between Christmas and New Year's. And like, it's a full-fledged thing. And she just like, her whole kitchen is just like filled with flour in the air and everybody's wearing aprons and you smell glaze. And anyway, that's Christmas. So I'm like, I can't wait for
such a
those.
scene. I love
know,
that.
and I'm excited for my kids as they're getting older to start seeing these things and like understanding how that, I don't know, fractions into the Christmas traditions amidst all the other beautiful things. But yeah.
Oh, I wish I could play.
Cooking.
I wish I could play that movie in my house and watch that whole scene just play out.
I'm going to make a reel.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
make a reel,
it's
so
just Little Women. That's so
it's really
fun.
It's really, really fun.
Really great.
So that amidst just all
Guys,
the chaos. I also love the chaos of Christmas. I love shopping.
Yes.
I love retail. I love the traffic. I love that. I know that is like the Achilles heel for so many people that do not like Christmas season for that reason. I love it.
Me
I
too.
like get energy when I'm out. Like you go to the mall.
It charges your
for
battery.
the first time since junior high.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is so fantastic. The one time you go a year, you always end up at the mall some way getting a last minute. And it's so much fun for me. Do you guys feel the same way?
I do feel the same way.
I feel when you go to the mall in July and there's like 9 people there, you're like, I feel like it's
broke.
America's broken.
Exactly.
The mall broke.
It makes me stressed out. I'm like, I'm never spending another cent. I got to save all my money. The economy's horrible. Yeah. So when I see people out, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
We're winning.
That feels like junior high again.
Yes, you want somebody to be selling warm nuts out of a
yeah.
kiosk, right?
Yes, and getting some like Pillsbury ham or whatever. That like random cheese booth in the middle of the mall. Do you remember that?
Some summer sausage.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what's it called? Starts with an H.
I'm like Hillsbury.
Is it
Hills
Hills?
a farm.
Yeah.
I don't
Hillshire.
know.
Is
Do
it-
you
No,
know?
Is that it?
no,
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 okay.
no. Something is
Yeah.
it like
Gosh.
Huckleberry? Everybody is driving in their cars right now, screaming the name out loud. Sorry, guys. You know what we're talking
You know the
about with the
one.
summer sausage. And I'm always like, how does that cheese stay fresh? that's been shrink wrapped.
Yeah.
That's smoked cheddar.
We don't have questions about it. You
What's
just
that
eat it.
doing out of the
Take
fridge?
sample when you're passing by and you don't make eye contact if you don't want to buy it.
Yeah. And then your mouth tastes so smoky afterward, and you're like, I need a hot chocolate. That was a lot. Yeah. So fun.
Hot chocolate. Well, shoot, I have a lot to do between now and next week. So
yeah, but you love the chaos, so it's gonna be so fun. Yeah.
I thrive on chaos.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. What about you?
So
what
good. We have a really cute tradition that my parents made when we were, I'm going to say, when I was in middle school. It's the same thing as junior high, but my parents got a timeshare in Park City, and they made their week the week before Christmas. So we would always go up to Park City and ski that week before Christmas. And it was really fun once we all got married, because then they got, different timeshare, bigger units, and room for all of us 6 kids to come home with now our families. And so we ski the week before Christmas, and it is so fun because you have to sort of fight over like, oh, whose year is it to be with this parent or that parent? And then you have a family of your own. You're like, oh, maybe we spend Christmas at our own home and not go to the parents. Or it's always a big to do, is like, where do you spend it? And so I love that my parents sort of carved out this little secret week before the holiday. Mm-hmm. Because then we get all of our family time in, and it's just the ultimate winter scene, just skiing and watching the little kids that are learning how to make a big wedge and come down the hill, and everybody meets at Deer Valley and has lunch in the lodge. And it's just really idyllic and so fun. And when I think of holidays, I always think of a much longer holiday, because we have this whole week before the holidays, which feels like Christmas prelude. And then of course Christmas is fine now to spend with just my 2 kids and my husband at our own house, and you get to sort of control that environment. But I always think of Park City.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
good. How about you, Corey?
So it's not, I don't know how many years it needs to go on before it's a tradition, but last year we did this. Okay, after this year it'll be one. But yeah, it's the same thing, like with my in-laws, so-and-so is going to their in-laws, and so not everyone's together. But last year we were like, we're just going to have whoever can come over for Christmas Eve at our house. And we did fettuccine Alfredo, homemade fettuccine Alfredo. Wow. And then it ended up being like my sister-in-law, so my wife's sister, her in-laws live pretty close by, like in the neighborhood over. So they're like, we'll just come over there after we're done, like doing, our party. And so it turned out to be like,
that's so fun,
Christmas Eve after party at our house. And it was so much fun. The kids stayed up late. They loved it. I had my wife's grandma passed away a few years ago, and then she had a bunch of records. And so I took all the records, and there were a bunch of Christmas ones. So I play those on like the record player. And when my mother-in-law came over, she was like, I used to listen to this record when I was like a little kid. Like, it's amazing. So we listen to all those records. It's just nostalgic and fun. And it was like so cool for us to host something.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's so
Christmas
great.
Eve after party.
Guys, the after party really is the best. Yeah.
It's good.
As a company, we've always hosted an after party after the holidays, because just trying to get ready retail wise and get everybody else ready and out the door and shopped, and we're just all exhausted, and client gifts and everything else. So we kind of celebrate holidays early in January or later in December and do a big after party, which is so fun.
It really is.
Yeah. But that reminded me of the holiday where Jack Black says a little Christmas fettuccine.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember
that's
that?
why we did it. Yeah, that's why we did it.
Yes, so good.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh, really fun. Well, you guys, whatever your plans are for next week, I hope that it's a very merry one. If you celebrate Christmas, and if you don't, I hope that you still get to enjoy all the hustle and bustle of your holiday, whatever is happening and however you celebrate. But I wanted to say really quickly, Sue, because I was saying I want to watch your holiday, and you're like, I'll make a reel. I want to give you guys some of our Instagram accounts, because I don't think we've ever done that before. And you guys probably think that as a company we're called Dear Alice or something, and we're oddly not. We're our store is on Instagram is called @AliceLaneHome. I guess everybody knows it starts with an @ sign. So Alice Lane Home is our store. This is probably old news to a lot of you, but for those of you that are new, we have a retail store in Salt Lake City, Utah area. And we also have a really great online store where we curate things that we can obviously ship really easily and get to you, the stuff that Corey and I are creating. So you follow that at Alice Lane Home if you want to see the store side of things, what we're creating, what launches we have. If you want to follow the interiors account or follow both, where we're designing the houses, remodeling the houses, big, huge projects. Sue's leading the forefront on these. That is at Alice Lane Interiors on Instagram. Both accounts are really fun to follow, and they're both unique content every day of the week. So it's a big lift to get it out there and share what we're doing. But those are really fun things if you like Instagram. If you like TikTok, we're at Alice Lane Home on TikTok. And if you're a Pinterest person, if you're a Pinterest person, we're Alice Lane Home on Pinterest. And then as if that's not enough, I was going to say you should follow Suzanne Hall because you want to see this video come live.
Yeah.
I feel like
I'll explain it. Okay, so my last name is Hall, Hall, and when Instagram first popped off, I was like, Holla Hall. That's so funny. So it's HALLAHALL. Blah. That is my handle. Instagram stuck. Turned out it was a cool thing. And so did the name. I just kept Holla Hall. So that is my Instagram handle.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And you'll get a bunch of reels.
Totally. It's
Yes.
so fun. Yeah. And
Okay.
I'm Jessica_Alice Lane, I think.
Yeah.
It's
a proper name.
I also was having a hard time figuring out what to name myself at the time. And I was like, this is stupid. Nobody's going to, let's just come. And then you don't feel like you can change. Yeah. I'm Jessica spelled the normal way, _
Can you change
and then
your?
Yeah,
Oh,
you sure
okay.
can.
Okay.
the _ gave me a space between Jessica and Alice Lane. So kind of lame. But anyway, those are our lame names on Instagram. I was going to say though, I just lost my train of thought. I can't remember. Oh, well, it'll come back to me.
Sometimes people are like, hey, you're Halla Hal.
Yeah. I got mine's just mine's just Corey
Manilow.
Place, so
Corey
I'm
Place.
lucky in that way. Yeah.
Corey is spelled Cori though.
That's why I probably got it.
Yeah.
You probably
Yeah,
did.
we thought we'd throw that in there for you insiders. You don't have to follow us individually, but you do for sure need to follow the store because it's so fun. And we really get in on the content making and show the behind the scenes and tell the story. So anyway, hopefully we'll see you there. And we are called Dear Alice because there's this old advice column. It's actually before our time that was called Dear Abby. And we just thought it was a nice ring to call it Dear Alice because so many of you write in like today's episode and ask questions or say, can you do a podcast on this? And we answer your questions here. So we're kind of like Dear Abby, but we're Dear Alice.
It also is a little like tongue in cheek because everyone thinks Jess is Alice, which is not the case.
Yeah.
We like to really confuse the people.
Well, but now
We just leaned into it.
Now nobody has to be confused because we just gave you all of that. So now you know the background, the store name, what we're doing. So hopefully you all feel like you're on the inside. We're glad that you're here. Okay, let's get into that listener question.
Okay. All right. So one of our great listeners, Sophie, sent in a question about doors, and we want to expand on them. So we have two parts to doors, actually.
This episode
part
is
one.
Yes, this episode is part one.
We're going to talk about interior doors. And here is Sophie's question. It says, what are the do's and don'ts of interior doors? And are single panel doors going out of style? What type of door style, any paneling or trim, is timeless? And does the door style all need to be the same? What a great question. So when we read this, we're like, this is a full podcast. We haven't done one on doors, interior or exterior. We may have brushed over it briefly, but it is like you go through a door to enter any space in your home. You go through the entry door and it has to say something about you. And also I feel like the door, along with like your casing, a lot of these other interior stuff that you're specifying, kind of explains the architecture and the shell of this house. So that being said, we're like, we need to go into doors because there's a lot to say. And for everyone's listening, convenience, Corey Place, he knows how to build custom doors.
Yes.
So there's no better person or group of people right now to really dissect this. So.
Corey Place, give them your background on doors.
So the job I had before Alice Lane, which was, I think I worked there for like 8 or 9 years. Yeah. So when I work for a company, I work there for a long time.
Stylist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I built custom doors for a company called CR Doors in Springville. And I started in wood shop in high school, and then Springville wood shop is like known in the entire state. Biasly, I can say it's the best. And so the best students were always like, you know, like people would come to the wood shop and be like, hey, who are your best students to like come and work? So that's how I got a job there. And it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of like crazy times, learned a ton, built 1 million doors. So I don't know about 1 million, but a lot.
Close to.
Yes.
Yeah.
So learned a lot about them.
You did your 10,000 hours?
I did. Yes.
Yeah. So how fun is it that Sophia asks the question about doors and we're like, well, we just happen to have a resident door expert right here on the podcast.
Yeah.
So
and I've been waiting 5 years for this day.
Yes, it's finally here. That's great.
It.
Well, I think we should first get into the anatomy of the door because we're going to be talking a lot about the pieces and parts. And so we want to make sure you guys understand the language so that as we get through these things, you'll know what we're talking about. Now, this podcast is available also on YouTube. This is a very visual podcast. So we're going to do our best for those of you that don't want to watch it, that are driving in your car and might not want to go back and listen to it again, to really describe the parts of the door. But if it is available to you to have this going on and be watching it, this is going to be a really good door school for you right now. If you're thinking about replacing your interior doors or even just a front door in your house, you're going to sound like an expert when you go in to talk to the craftsman about what you want and why you want it that way, because Corey Place is going to teach you, as well as Sue and I are going to talk about the projects we've been doing and some of the things that we're loving and what we think makes for a really stylish door.
It turns out there's a lot of different doors. So
yes,
we're going to break that down for you today.
Definitely. So let's start with the anatomy of a door.
Okay.
So Sue Hall has sketched a picture. Y'all know she's an artist. So I'm going to hold it up right now. And Corey, will you take the people through the different types and describe for those that can't see it right now what we're talking about?
Yes. I'm the weakest at this on the podcast, describing what I'm visually seeing. So I'm going to do my best. So we're going to start with the slab itself. The slab is the door when it's off of the hinges. It's just the
entire door.
Yeah, the entire door, not on the hinge. That's the slab.
Okay.
So that's made of a bunch of components. The first are the ones that run vertical on the left and the right side of the door. Those are called stiles, S-T-I-L-E. And then the pieces that connect those stiles together that run horizontally are called the rails. So you always have a top one, you always have a bottom one. Not possible to build a door without them. And then you'll have, varying ones in the middle depending upon how many panels you have. So the panels are in between those rails.
The only exception would just be for a slab door.
A flat. Yeah. That is true. So that's technically, depending upon how it's built, because I've built solid wood slabs. Those are just all stiles essentially,
Got it. Okay. Keep going.
So then Sue's sketched this for me. It's an exterior door, obviously. We thought there was more parts to that, so we should get into it. But on either side of this door, there are side lights or a transom. You've seen those a million times on doors. They are the pieces in between those that are in between the slab itself and the side lights are called mole posts. So those are like kind of the door jamb, but it's not considered a jamb if it's an exterior door. And then you have like a brick mold or a casing that goes around it. Glass is sometimes called glazing too. And then obviously at the bottom you have a threshold or a sweep. So it's pretty much like the basics of a door, and we can kind of use this throughout the episode to kind of refer back to it. The
threshold or the sweep really mucks things up for us ladies when we're trying to choose an interior door rug. But having an airtight door in the winter is really nice so that it doesn't get breezy.
Drafty.
So that's always something that we're fighting up against with an existing home or even a new build, because is there a way to give ourselves an inch? Would you just say, hold that? I don't even know. How do you give yourself a way so that sweep
isn't as thick off the ground?
Could you build the front of the house up a little bit higher or set the floor down an inch lower than normal so when that sweep comes in, I don't know. Or is that going to trip people going out?
The problem is code.
Oh, sure.
I feel like code's probably always just
Yeah.
getting in the way of what you guys like want to do.
Yeah.
It does with doors like all the time.
Yeah, we
like,
gotta
especially
follow
style of
code.
doors and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. So
Okay.
that's the issue with it. They
not
do
part of the
make low
podcast.
profile sweeps though, or thresholds.
Yeah.
So if you want it to kind of just disappear as much as you can,
Uh-huh.
use that. They're always like, metal of some kind though.
Yeah.
And I always just go for like the dark, really dark, like bronze one that kind of just goes away. And
Yeah.
that's what I prefer and
Great.
use. But
Okay, so that is the anatomy of a door.
yes.
Let's get into the different types of doors.
Mhm. And then we can talk about door styles and answer Sophia's question. Should we start with if her first part of the question, the single panel doors are going out of style?
Yeah. So we have some pictures of what we think are really beautiful single panel style doors.
Or slabs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or slabs.
So
let's define the two.
So a slab is just a smooth, has no shape to the door, just completely smooth like this. So that would be a slab door.
This would be like your mid-century homes, right? Or
Yeah.
contemporary homes might do a slab door,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Our 1971 noted they're not high quality doors, but they just did a slab door, probably for cost style. So it's going to be your least expensive
Mm-hmm.
door style, just to have no profiles or paneling on it at all. And so that is a slab door. In this picture, we tried to find the prettiest examples of what this door could be if this is your style on as far as the visuals on this podcast. So the picture that Jess is holding up right now is an interior double door, but it is a slab and it has really interesting hardware kind of separating it, and it looks like it's almost plastered. So with a slab door, I would say you see a lot of wood grain slab doors just for interest. If you're not going to have a panel, you can't do a wood grain, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, I just feel like
He hates them.
the wood grain is never good.
Guess what? Sioux Hall has wood grain slab doors.
Yours are different. Yours are from the 70s. Those are
They're pretty bad.
but
It's okay.
yes, those aren't the ones that I thought of in my mind. I
Yeah.
thought of this one behind us right here where it's wood, the wood tile version of a slab door.
Yeah.
We're thinking real wood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you
A
want,
mid-century home,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's cool.
Maybe you're doing a remodel on it and you want to replace it with real solid wood.
In
Not
that
solid,
case, I would do real wood
Or if you're,
all day long.
if
On a
you're
slab
in
door.
a cabin in Park City and you want it to feel like a cabin, you
Contemporary.
might do a wood slab door with great hardware, and then I might paint out my trim white so it doesn't get too rustic, but
Yes.
still getting some of that warm tone. That's a great way to use a slab door,
Mm.
Yeah.
in my opinion. But the hardware counts big time when you're dealing with such a simple profile as a slab door.
Yes.
And it really has to dictate the style that you are going for, and that style has to kind of ring true throughout the house
Mhm.
to say, this is why I picked this door. It is simple for a reason, and I went crazy on my hardware. It's really good.
Yeah.
If
So-
if someone say has slab doors right now that are awesome doors still, you could put an applied molding on that to kind of create a detail or panel. I've done that with cabinet doors a ton. I've done it for entry doors as well.
Corey,
So,
let me ask you a door question. This is the question I'm having. I don't know if the listeners are having the same question, which is it going to be more cost effective to buy slab doors and have your finish worker come in and do some sort of custom paneling on it? Or would it just be better just to have the door shop just make the entire door that
make
way?
the custom door. Yeah.
Okay.
Because the finish carpenter is most likely going to be more expensive
Yeah.
than the hourly rate that you're paying for at the door shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't make a ton of money. Trust me.
Good
Okay,
call.
great. Well, let's get into
Good
that
definition.
single panel door.
Okay.
I'm those of you listening, I'm holding up a picture right now that shows 3 different types of single panel doors.
Mm. So this one in the middle right here is kind of like what I was talking about. That's a slab door with an applied molding on the top of it to make it look
Sneaky.
Is that done at the
it's-
door
it's a
shop
s-
or is that an aftermarket
that's
job?
probably done at the door shop. Yeah.
Okay.
We have done
I think that's
aftermarket,
pretty.
though.
Mm-hmm.
We had a client, Catherine, her
Oh, yeah.
doors where we were trying to keep as many things in the house, and her had more than one. I think she had a 2 panel, but we applied. It was just a shaker. And I will say that the shaker single panel door,
Uh-huh.
it looks inexpensive because it is. It's a less expensive option. So I think if you can do, if that's in your budget, you're building a stocked house, whatever, and that's the door that you select, go in aftermarket and add a trim to the interior of those panels.
Yep.
And that will make you look a lot more expensive.
100%.
So whether
Totally
you're a
agree.
slab door or your pre-paneled door that's just shaker, you can always embellish it to make it look more expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. So a shaker's going to have a flat panel too. So there's no detail to it. There's no profile to it. Profile is detail is like the shape of the style of the style, rail, or panel. So yeah, a shaker one, you just put the applied molding on the style and in the rail part, and it kind of, you know, gives it a little bit more thickness and creates dimension. Yeah.
Some interest.
So, and then,
You want to still talk about
yes.
these? Okay.
And then this one all the way to the right is that's a single panel door. That's when I hear that term, that's what's in my mind. It has a style on two styles, obviously left and right, and then a top and bottom rail, and then just a panel in one panel in the middle that runs, you know, the height of the door.
And there is a profile to that one.
Yes. Yeah.
I think I have that door at my house. My house is a beach house. It's, I'd say transitional, and I still actually really like it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
To me, that's a classic door.
It is a classic door.
But
it's the molding. If it was just a shaker, it goes to a cheap door.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
Because your style and rails like all have a profile on them as well as your panel.
Do you know what I like, Corey? I don't know if there's a way to talk about this intelligently, but I like it when the bottom rail is higher off the ground on the bottom than the equidistance all the way around. It sort of weights it.
Yeah.
Kind of like when you're custom framing a picture and you weight the bottom of the mat.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool. Is there a way to ask for that or not really?
They always should be, because that's, I mean, back when doors were just, you know, mostly functional, that was the kick plate is the bottom rail.
Yes.
So that's how you'd open it.
That's what I love.
That's the reason.
I love me a kick plate. I love me some hardware on a door.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, get all the
Love
jewelry
that.
on that, girl.
So all of them should. There are sometimes, if I'm being completely honest, like in the door shop, we'd like build a door and be like, oh, you like this door instead of a 6'8", you know, like everything else was supposed to be like 6'6", and so where are they cutting it off? They're cutting it off the bottom of the door, and then it
doesn't look quite
it doesn't look right with everything else.
When he says 6'8", the standard, like every standard average door that you walk through, majority will
Interior
be 6
door.
foot 8 inches
Mm-hmm.
on an interior door. Like like kind of average, like just for dimensions, we do 6'8" a lot. We do 8 foot a lot when we get into custom.
Yep.
And then it kind of go 8, 10, 12, whatever.
Yeah.
Depending
There's
on
also
how ridiculous
7'0"
you
and
are.
7'6", but those are like, so 7 feet and then 7 foot 6 inches. Those are like, you can still find like non-custom doors in those heights. It's just not as standard.
Okay.
But
I thought I'd say that out loud because
Yeah.
like, sometimes we start saying like 3'0", 6'8". Anyway,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what that means.
yeah,
Okay.
so a 3068 would be a door that's 3 feet wide, 6 foot 8 inches tall.
Yeah. So now you can talk the lingo.
And
Exactly.
I want to say that it's pretty common to do a front door, a 3.0.
Yeah.
If you're doing a single door, because you want a little bit broader on the front door, because you're going to have to bring furniture.
I would say
through
that's
that door.
the most narrow that
Yeah.
you should go, unless you're doing double doors.
And that's by
Yes.
code.
Yes.
You can't go smaller than 3'0".
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're like grandfathered in, I guess, like an old home that has
A
like,
historical
when I say
home.
Yeah.
3'0", it's not 30 inches. I'm talking 36 inches because
Yep.
it's 3 feet.
and
Yeah.
then standard inside is 2.8.
Yeah, you can be, yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay, let's
Good
keep
talk.
going.
Okay.
Let's talk about the double panel door.
We love doors. Okay, keep
yes. So this is obviously just like, there's a couple of situations here. The one in the middle again is an applied molding.
going. Guys, I love this. Let's describe this one in the center because
Yes.
you have 2 panels, but then you have like this like center. What would you call this? Like just I know it's applied molding, but it feels very historic to have like this linear piece of molding that almost like looks like a shelf detail or something. That's just like giving some profile and interest to break up the gap
Yeah, that's
between the 2 panels.
yes. So that's sitting on like the middle rail, and that would just be, you know, an applied shelf or an applied molding
Yeah.
is how like.
And do you
we
usually
communicate
line that up with the hardware? Is that kind of how you find location on where that shelf will
Your
run?
hardware is typically centered, like the center hole is at 36 inches. Typically, that's just like where your hand reaches
Yeah.
for a door, and so that's typically where you want your middle rail, just because it looks weird if your middle rail's down towards the bottom, like you have a you know, a 2/3 panel, so your top panel is significantly bigger than your bottom. It's fine being at 36, but if it's like an inch off, it looks
Feels off.
Yeah, it feels off.
There's really like these golden means, just like to the weighted portion that you're talking about. You liked when we're looking at door elevations, when we're customizing them or like picking them, you like naturally, your eyeballs naturally go to the one that feels the most balanced, and that has the weighted bottom, and it has like the hardware in the right spot, and like that's a good door. So if you don't trust yourself, talk to somebody that you trust to look at the doors before you buy them.
Yes.
Or build them.
And if you do have a situation where your door is a little funky, whether like your original, like the one you're pulling out, it was, weird for some reason, different from other ones in your house, I would say figure out a way to get, talk to someone at a door shop to get that one matching every other one. Because there are ways to do it that aren't just like kind of fudging it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Smart.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Is there anything else you want to talk about on 2-panel doors, or should we graduate to 3-panel doors?
I would say this is like 2-panel is like the most common that I see, like
Yeah.
a lot more. And then I think we'll talk about 3-panel now.
Back in the day was like 2-panel arch top, like that. So it had like that little
the
arch in the
eyebrow.
top of it.
Early 2000s,
Yeah.
am I right?
Yeah. We're
Not doing that.
not
We're also
doing that.
not doing that to our windows anymore.
Definitely.
That was the window shape and the door shape.
Yeah.
And I want to say the hallway shape had an arch top.
So yeah,
Right?
yeah. Or even like a breezeway into like a dining room or something like
Yeah.
that. It's like I don't know.
And they're still available. I was like looking through stocked options. They're still around. You might be tempted by them. And we're here to say, just clean it up.
Just
straighten
don't do
out.
it. Don't do it.
Someone
Yeah.
at a door shop right now who knows very little about design is going to be like, this is our best seller, and they're going to use it because it was selling the best in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Not
Do you know
the
what?
case.
Do you know what other sin that they do with the arch top? They do this sort of beadboard looking thing inside the panel.
Oh yeah.
What's that called?
It's called a bead
Like a toe
groove.
Yeah.
Bead groove.
Yeah. So
Ladies and gentlemen, do not do that.
yeah.
Yeah. Don't get playful with those doors, because you're not going to like that in 10 years, and you don't want to replace all your interior doors.
Mm.
You're fine to paint things. You're fine to maybe even change up hardware, but you just don't want to be changing out interior doors. So don't have too much fun.
So true.
Yeah,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good.
All right.
We said what not to do. Let's keep going.
Exactly.
Okay, 3-panel door. Ladies and gentlemen, we are using these in our traditional homes.
Yeah.
This is very classical. This looks like you're a billionaire.
Yeah, this is my favorite kind of door. I love a 3-panel. That like little belt line between the center gives you so much opportunity to like leave it plain. Again, right now we're looking at 3 additional pictures of 3-panel doors, and they are very traditional spaces. And you have, how would you break these up as far as like proportionately when you're like specifying something like this? Because these are all very similar to each other, Corey.
So basically, where you're taking how you're creating this middle panel is you're just taking some height out of that top panel and putting another rail there. So it's kind of giving you a third panel in between this top and bottom panel here. Because your bottom panel is pretty much always going to stay the same because you need that 36 on center.
Yeah.
So
36 on center for the doorknob.
for the doorknob.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, keep going. Sorry.
No, thank you. So yeah, like this is one of my favorite doors. It just feels very classic to me as well.
So this is a
expensive.
custom door, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but they do have stock versions of this. Yeah.
Oh, great. Perfect.
So yeah, that's
Yeah, it's more molding. It feels just like quality finish work, and yeah, proportionately, it's really, really nice. Again, we said this before, but those panels, like the distance between them, again, those are the mullions.
the rails.
The rails, sorry, those are the rails, and I think the closer that those can kiss, I think the better looking it is.
Yep. You want
Don't gap
for
it.
your middle rails. You want smaller middle rails.
Mhm.
Yeah, and kind of more panel, give you more detail, more dimension to the door.
More panel, less rail.
Yes.
I love that. Oh, you want to
I just want to say one more thing,
Let's
just like
do
generally
it.
with all the panel details, you'll see doors that have like 2 vertical panels on the top and 2 vertical panels on the bottom. We're just like, my eyeballs don't like them. I think we all would agree that we like, and I don't know what you would call that, like a split panel.
So yeah,
would you call
like
that?
yeah, a split panel, or there's like different styles. Like a Boston 6 panel has those. It's technically a 3 panel door that's split in half vertically.
Okay.
So those are called mullions. Those rails are called mullions because they're running vertical. And yeah, also not my fave.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
So
keep it going, like majority, like that full width of the door is the panel that you want, just that solid thing. I will say that the multiple panel door, we're kind of on the panel door, we're just doing the 1, 2, 3, talking to you today about those. But the multiple panel door, like the 5 panel door, is very historic.
Mm-hmm.
I feel lovely about that. I think that's a really cute look.
Yeah, if you
it's
have
darling.
a traditional historic home that you're fixing up. Also, we have a project that's beloved called Tiger Oak.
Mm-hmm.
We use that 5 or 6 panel door for all their interior doors. And it spoke to the charm and sort of the look that we were going for to make this house feel like a what do they call that when it's like a generational home? Yeah. It gives that feel. It's not my favorite look, but I loved it so much for Tiger Oak. And I feel like designers out there, this is where I think our preferences need to stand out of the way, and you need to do what's right for the house. That's still good looking. And so, like I just said, I don't love this 6-panel door, but it's perfect for the project, and you can appreciate its charm. Yeah.
But it still follows the rule of like keeping that same width consistent down, not doing the split in the center.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's successful still in the right environment.
When you're figuring out your style of door, I would just take into consideration like how tall your doors are going to be. Like if you have 8-foot ceilings, you have a 6'8" door. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
If you try to do a 3-panel where your top panel is larger, and they're not like all equal sizes to each other, it's going to look kind of weird because you have to shrink the top of that door. So in that case, like I probably would do just a single panel raised panel door, because then that's going to elongate it anyway, and it's not going to be breaking up that door. And
ladies, we get dressed every day. We want to look long. This is the same thing for a door, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No belt lines.
Yes.
Outfit. Yep.
Yes, definitely.
I love it. Okay.
Would it be helpful to show them? We just showed them a lot of beautiful custom doors. We're going to show you the Disneyland Fast Pass, the the shorthand version to get a ready-made door from your door catalog to get these looks.
Yep. And this is a company. So the pictures that we just showed you were all like very custom doors. Beautiful. These are ones that like we use for every project that we do. You know, we have to select the doors. And so the front door often will be custom. If there's a specialty spot, those will be custom. But majority of the time, we're asking our builders, okay, what catalog do you want me to like search through to find the right door, you know, for the rest of them, because they get expensive. And the one that was like trusted, I think, like nationwide across the board is called True Style, is the one that we use the very most.
Spell that.
And that's TRUSTILE. True Style, and they have a great catalog of panel doors, a few of which we have some pictures of right here. And I will say that this one, I love that this one, again, we're looking at a door, and instead of having like that 36, what would you call this?
So this is
a 2-panel.
It's a 3/4 2-panel. So the 3/4 means that top panel is about 75%, 3/4 of the height of that door.
I love that.
I do too.
Yeah.
I love this one. I think
it gets your doorknob in the right space. It's weighting the top. It's not, it's like, I don't know, it's just more elegant.
The door a little bit.
It's
it kind of like, brings a little bit more solidness to the bottom. Feels
So
grounded.
Those of you that are not watching, this is from the True Style catalog. We just showed an illustration. This is a door that we are going to specify quite a bit on projects.
They never have pretty names. So
no.
So this one is
S5.
Yeah.
Well, that's not going to matter for most people listening. I would say if you are serious about replacing doors or choosing doors for your house, just watch this on YouTube. Those of you listening, we'll zoom through this catalog really quick. We just wanted to highlight a few favorites. Okay. So that's our 2-panel. That's ready made. You can get that. This one is a 3-panel.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like what we were talking about earlier in the episode, where that middle panel is just kind of it's smaller, so it's
splitting the difference like a belt.
Yeah. Yep.
This is really good. We've used this a lot, and I believe this is the one that we used in Rachel Parcells' basement.
So a couple of things, and it kind of ties into the question that we were asked. In my opinion, a front door, I think all your interior doors should be the same style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The front door, it is kind of weird to me when it's the exact same as the rest of the house. So I like having the front door being something, unique and kind of
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something fun.
So when you're kind of like we were talking about code earlier, when you're looking through these doors, you're going to have, for interior or exterior, you're going to have like all of these ratings out here are talking about the
fire code,
the fire rating. So from your house to your garage, if you have a connected garage, you have to have a fire rated door there in most places. In Utah, you do. It has to be at least 20-minute rated, means there can be a fire on one side of the door. It's not going to get into the other side for 20 minutes.
Safety first.
And they don't make every single style in every single rating. So when you're choosing your interior style, and if you want to like that to match the door that's going out to your garage or even, your front door to that, you have to make sure when you're doing that, you have to make sure that you'll have, they have a fire rated version of it so that you can, kind of keep that.
Hot tip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super helpful.
Like literally hot tip.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Fire.
your 3-panel.
Okay.
What are we looking at here? Because I see 3 panels again, but different rhythm.
Yes. Everyone's going to call like that style of door something different. But that's just,
Do that belt line at the top.
Exactly. Yeah. So that would be a 3-panel with a small panel on top.
Yeah.
Symmetrical. 3-panel.
3-panel.
Small panel on the top and bottom, big panel in the middle.
Exactly.
Do you guys use this? I don't really care about this one.
Yeah,
Not too
that
much.
was not my favorite.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
only
Okay.
show them our favorites.
Okay.
This is, I think, very, very nice, very standard.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think a
Very
lot of
standard.
people feel good about this.
Yeah.
Right? There's a slightly offset rail. No, what do you call the
Middle rail. Yeah.
Middle rail.
Yeah. So where your panel's a little bit bigger, again, that's like elongating the door.
Mhm.
And that's exactly where your doorknob will go, is right in the middle of that. So that's at 36 on centers.
That's great.
Okay.
And then we have your 6-panel, which kind of feels like a historical
It's like a
pioneer house.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. This is kind of like our Tiger Oak answer. And then
Mhm.
this is a little more simple version of that, the 4-panel door. Also feels historic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so those are some really nice catalog, if you will, from your builder doors that you could specify. And like I said, watch that. You can see the numbers on the screen that coincide with that. As far as types of doors, we're now going to get to the jib door. This
Okay.
is
Yes. Yeah.
Guys.
this is a slab door. This is something for you interior designers to employ this trick. It is a good one.
It's really great.
We've been leaning into this a lot lately.
I feel like this is where you could have one door that was different from all the rest.
Oh, for sure. Because
Mhm.
you actually don't want to even like draw attention to it. And it's kind of just like the secret tunnels. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Secret door. You
Secret
can
tunnels.
wallpaper over the jib door. Will you just define what the jib door is for the folks?
Yeah, a jib door is typically has drywall on it. That's it, which is called gypsum, and they kind of make it just to kind of go away and it's
Into
either,
the wall. It's not cased.
Yep.
You
it's-
even can run your floorboard across the face of it. So this door is literally hidden.
and it's at the same plane as your wall, as your drywall. So kind of just the only thing you would see is the outline that it's there.
Yep.
Yeah. How do we use the jib door
Yes.
today, Sue? Why do we love it?
The reason why we love this is because like sometimes you have like a lot of entrances. Take, for example, we have our job that we did in Capitol, like the Capitol Heights job in DC.
Oh,
And
cue picture.
Cute picture. Okay, and in that entry, it wasn't a massive entry, but they had a lot of doors. You have your entry door, you have closet doors, you have an entrance into the living room, and then you also had a powder room door. And we're adding all this paneling, and you're like, how are we going to work out the rhythm of our paneling? All these doors, and like tell people what is important and what is not important, or what's a fun secret. So as you go into that entry, the powder room and the closet doors, it was just too much. And so we're like, let's hide that with a jib door and paneling on top of the jib door to help it go away so that it wasn't so many tall rectangles breaking up the space. That is why we did this. And it's really, really fun because, again, behind secret door number 1 is the green Gucci herons, panel or like wallpapered bathroom. And so this is a really great trick if you just don't want to draw attention to yet another rectangle in a space and just soften it. And it's also really fun to just be like, come check this out, guys.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you use a
Open that.
regular doorknob when you do a jib door?
We have.
Yeah.
Or like, it's always not usually the same doorknob as everywhere else.
Yeah, it's something
It's usually
special.
just like a sweetheart of a thing, it might be a
Uh-huh.
little bit smaller just so you like have an interaction. You're just kind of
Uh-huh.
peeking. You're like, oh my gosh, there's a whole nother
I
room
just,
back
it's
there.
Narnia.
It's Narnia.
Yeah.
Secret tunnels.
I think it
So-
would look weird if there was just like a round doorknob
I
on the
agree.
wall somewhere. Yeah. So it needs
I
it
agree.
needs to be special, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So-
this is that
Yes.
moment.
So,
And one thing that I'm sure the people are like, what do we call it? Jib door? Because we were doing this just before the podcast. So we thought it was gyp, like short for gypsum, because that's what sheetrock is.
Mhm.
But oddly, when you look it up, it's spelling it JIB,
Yeah.
jib door. Why do we call it jib door? Or what did you call it, the door shop?
Yeah, we would call them just gyp doors because we would
Like GYP,
Yeah,
like short
yeah.
for gypsum.
exactly.
So designer, if you're going to specify this out there, or homeowner that wants to just get fun and do something like this, you can call it either gyp or jib, JIB, and when you Google it, they both come up.
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, the next kind of detail, or the next kind of doors are the glass detail doors. So these are doors that have glazing in them, like Corey talked about. And this is your French doors. This is fun on a pantry. This is fun, I don't know, as a kitchen door so you can see out. Also French doors leading into a music room or a home office or something like that.
Yep.
I love these kind of doors just for the transfer of light. Like we can't get enough windows in a house. We want the sunlight. We want all that natural lighting and shadows to happen. And so I love this. And these are awesome, especially if you start to look toward the interior rooms of the house that don't have a window that you need to share some light with. And like privacy might not be an issue or something like that. I think offices or things like that where you just need more window space. This is awesome to share light. So
Yep.
Yeah, it's great.
So
anything we want to say here, Corey, we're doing a 3/4 door. We're doing
Yeah. So this one in the middle, that would be a 2/3 4 light. And what that means is like the glass in it is about 2/3 of the height of the door. And then there's 4 different pieces of glass in there, 4 different pieces of glaze, and they have grid or mullion separating them.
Okay. And I will say for each of these circumstances, because these are all projects of ours, on the 3 pictures that Jess is holding up, all these grids play into the windows that are around the rest of the house. That are, if it's on an exterior wall, they're lining up with a grid somewhere else or close to that system. So anyway, don't just like say, oh, I'm just going to do a 4 light door in the middle of a highly gridded house because it might feel off. So you're going to pay attention to your window grids.
Here's what I really like about this type of door, because you can have an exterior door that is this 3/4, like this one in the middle. And sometimes they come from the vinyl door company, and the mullions, is that what they're called in the middle?
The grid, yeah.
Those are inside the glass, and they're like the same off-white color as the windows.
That's a fake mullion. Yeah.
I just want to lose my mind on that one, because you have an opportunity to have your mullions be proud of the glass and really see those and be able to interact with them. And that looks really expensive and really charming.
The divider or the grid on the inside of it, that's how they like bypassed custom and just like made that's their like solution for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, because most of the time you're going to have to get somewhat of a custom door to do this. They make some readily like available options. Sometimes they're just gridded out inside of the glass, and that's a bumski.
It is a bumski.
But tell me, Corey, like on these doors, that's one solid piece of glass, and then the grid is breaking up. It's 4 pieces of glass.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
my mom has a historic house,
divided light.
And each of those things, like there's a lot of grids. Each of them are like the old antique wavy glass. So I remember her like popping those out when there would be a crack and having to replace them. And I'm like, I wonder if there's a more streamlined way. So that's really good to know.
Yeah.
That's the best way, what your mom has.
Yeah. Like these doors right here to all the way to, I guess that's my right, but our left. All of those are like individual pieces of glass. So when you're like putting them in, you have to like line those, like all that grid up that's running vertically, line all that up so it's not doing this, not like wavy down the door. So
grab your window and door guys some donuts tomorrow.
Definitely.
That's a lot of work.
Corey, will you tell them the difference between this door, which is Rachel Parcells' pantry door, versus this door going outside?
Just Tiger Oak. Yeah.
So Rachel Parcells is more of it's closer to a half light. 6 light is what you would say. So there's 6 pieces of glass. It has an applied molding on the top of it, around the stiles and rails, and then has a panel detail. The one in Tiger Oak looks like that's like a flat panel. Is that true?
No, I think it's like recessed, like bottom panel.
Oh, okay.
With a trim.
So one's 3/4, one's 7/8. No, one's half.
One's
light.
2/3, one's half. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So essentially like a half light is like you're taking the top panel out and you're just replacing that with glass. And then if it were a 1 light, it would just be 1 piece of glass, or 2 light, 3 light, 6 light. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
So cool. Okay. Should we talk about transoms?
Yeah, let's talk about transom.
Okay, great. So the transom, Corey, do you want to define the transom for folks?
A transom is glazing, so glass above or sometimes next to a door.
So like you would call the side light also transoms in the door shop, or would you call it a side light?
If it was interior, I'd call it's a transom. Exterior,
Oh, fascinating.
and if there's a mole post in between it, then it's a side light. It gets really complicated and convoluted, but a door guy's, if you're talking to him like that, he's going to know what you mean. But
I always thought that the transom was overhead and the side lights were to the right or left of the door. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
That it's a difference between a mole post and if it's interior or exterior.
Yep.
Okay, great. Designers and in design enthusiasts, we're going to sound so smart.
Right.
Yes. I hope that you're still hanging on there with us. I know this is a lot of education. Okay, so here is the...
Yeah. So we have a couple options. These ones, the first two, the one on the right and the middle are interior, obviously. So I would, Are these doors like bifold doors?
Yeah, that looks like a bifold unit. Yeah, that's on an interior space. It's probably just sharing light from a hallway to a room. Yeah.
So the middle one, bifold doors, transom on top. The one on the right is a double door with two transom on the side and a transom above. And then this exterior door on the left has a transom above it. So
guys, and you can get so fun. I just wanted to like put some of these more theatrical options in there just because you can do leaded glass. You can do like little jewels and things. Oh, case in point. Thank you, Jessica Bennett. Next on the queue is at our Manchester in the kitchen. Manchester house on our portfolio. This is in the kitchen. And around, she has like a big hood feature in her kitchen on this wall that's clad in marble. And then she has a couple steps up on both sides of that that go to a playroom behind the kitchen. How cute is that? Also
so
for grandma and like grandkids. Anyway, and we want to do something really fun. So we did these transoms above those doors. And she's colorful. She has a lot of like British ties. And so we did these stained glass coloreds with the leaded glass transoms up there. And we did a lot of transoms in her like whole house just because she loves light coming into those interior spaces.
Transoms in an interior of a home were originally used to like control heat between rooms because you would open those transoms up.
Yeah, kind of like our shower.
Exactly.
I have a transom tilt above my shed glass door. Yeah.
So
just only for look. I don't move it, but I just think it's so beautiful to elongate again that line. So pretty.
I think that's most of like the interesting interior details of our home are like used to be function and now it's like let's like pay homage to it.
Yeah.
But so
I love that.
Cool detail about that.
Yeah. So work transoms into your design if you want to give it some, I'd say, charm and a little bit of history.
Definitely.
Yeah. I love that. Let's really quickly talk about door trim because I think the way we case our doors really, really matters and sort of helps set these off. So just really quickly, maybe Corey, you could help us on this, but our baseboard is usually related to the casing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I know I had custom baseboards ripped. I had a knife made and we just ripped all the baseboards, but then we cut off a bottom portion of it and then use the rest for the casing if you're doing a custom job. But I think that I think it's worth getting the custom knife made. I really am happy that I did it. So I have something that's unique to anything in a catalog. Yeah. But talk a little bit about case and base on a door.
Yeah, my personal feeling as far as casing goes, I don't like a header, especially if it's just a single header. There's like nothing above it. So I always like just do a mitered casing, which is just 45-degree angles that just kind of outline your door, essentially.
Your typical width on that casing is usually for standard homes around like the 4.5 inch casing that wraps around that door. And again, it's just bordering the whole thing like a frame and then mitering in the corners, correct?
Yes.
Yep. And then on something like that, your base average would be like 6 inches, would you say? Or the higher, the better.
Yeah. So they have like 3, 5, and 7 series. And it's within 3 to 4 inches and then 5 to 6 and then 7 to 8, 8.5. Then you can even get taller than you can stack them. Yeah.
You can get real crazy.
I would say just be in the 7 series for your base. And then, the casing size was typically the 3 series for your casing.
And it's the same casing on the doors and the windows.
Yes.
That's the same case.
Yes. So. And then whatever the profile number is, again, they're not sexy names. They're like, profile 972 or whatever. That'll have a base version of that, which is 5 or 7 series, and then the 3, and you want those to just match.
Yeah.
And pick your baseboard first. Figure out what the baseboards are going to be.
Pro tip.
Then pick your casing for that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. You will want a pediment, if you will, on the top.
Yeah.
I think at your front door, you want to sort of build up a little bit of vibrato, and or if you are a classical or traditional home, you're going to want to do that there. I know on traditional new builds today, you're not doing that, but if you're going for a certain style, I think it's really fun.
A historic home and you're remodeling,
Yes.
then just like pay attention to what was happening, and then like, I don't know if that's important to you, definitely like pay homage to that.
And go ahead and get the very best finish worker. There's good, better, best on a job site. You're going to want your best if you're going to be doing pediments, and
especially for important doors.
Really get into the history of it with them, and you'll get yourself a little bit of an education. I love the finish work part. It's kind of the icing on the cake.
Oh, definitely.
And I feel like the job site finally starts to feel like a home when you start to see the case and the base and those moldings go on. You're just like, oh, and the house smells like sawdust, and it's just kind of dreamy. I love it.
And if you're getting to the custom land and you ever have questions, it is not out of the norm to ask your finish worker for like, if you want to see paneling on the walls, to have them sample that for you. And that's really fun.
Mock it up.
Mock it up. Have them mock up your door to make sure you like the proportions and the trims and the profiles integrated. Cause just make it right.
They'll stack a couple pieces of molding and they'll use just some quick nails to mock it up.
Yeah. And be opinionated about it going in, about the picture, have the picture of the door that you love, and just be like, nope. I want it to look like this. And then
you'll be able to tell if it's off. Like you may not be able to, you didn't do this exactly right, but you'll know if it's not exactly what you'll be like, something feels off. What, what is feeling off about this?
But if you don't have a great finish worker, then they might take shortcuts. So just make sure that you hold them to what the image that you dreamed about forever. So
definitely.
Okay.
Really quick, let's get into a few do's and don'ts, and then we'll turn you guys loose.
I know.
Don'ts for doors. I should say, well, let's give them a few don'ts.
Okay.
I would say never, ever, ever. Let's play, what's that game?
Would you ever?
Yeah.
Would you ever? Suzanne, would you ever do one side light with your front door?
Never.
I've seen that on so many like older homes, maybe from the 80s or 90s, where they have one side light.
I built them in the early 2000s.
Sure did.
Yeah,
Oh, you
it's a
did?
shame.
Like, it's not that
Yeah, you guys fight with your builder if that is on plan, or your architect, but don't do the side light at all. If you have to, you could do a front door that has some glass in it that's a half light or something if you want to get light.
Above transom if you have the
Get it above
Yeah.
transom.
Do a wider. I would go for a wider door, so like a 3.6 with a transom above.
Yeah,
Cheers.
And like good casing happening around on the interior and exterior.
Yes.
Good. You guys won that round.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Would you ever paint your interior doors
Would I ever
a
paint
color?
I would, but like I'm the anomaly. So I might lose this round. In general, for the majority of our clients, if you're not trying to draw attention, if you go on Pinterest and you're looking at doors, there's rarely that you're trying to draw attention to your interior doors, because there's so many of them, and so they can get cacophonous. So we are usually like 99% of the time we are going to be painting the door the same color as the casing, same sheen, whatever's happening on the if we do a color drench on that room, that color is going to be the same color as the casing is going to be in that room. But on the public face, like if that's white trim, the doors are going to be white. So that is like the rule. I will say it's the general rule.
Yeah.
If you're crazy and you want to highlight a door, then go for it. There's so many fun doors and so many cool opportunities, but make sure that the door, like your personality merits it, or that the door is like leading somewhere special.
Yes.
And you want to draw attention to it. That's that job.
Yes. Very good. Love that. You win.
Huh.
Okay. Would you ever do a hollow core door?
Dreamed about it my whole life. No. Corey, what is a hollow core door? Define for me.
A hollow core door is literally just made out of thin pieces of MDF, and there's cardboard that's kind of like shaping it on the inside. That's what hollow core door is. I have them in my house. Let's go over pricing with them just really quick.
Yeah.
You can get a interior door that is like board routed, framed, so like has jam on it, for probably $200 hollow core. You're probably 2 to 3x that for
solid.
a solid. Yeah.
Let's tell them when you want to make sure and do a solid door in the home if you're going to spring for it somewhere.
Hold on, where you would do
it?
it?
Could be like what you can afford when you can afford
Corey,
it.
Corey,
So
here's what I
there's
want to
always,
say.
like, ways
I grew
separate.
up with 4 little brothers.
Mm-hmm.
When boys go to the bathroom and they don't sit down, it's just allowed. I feel like privacy is needed when, especially in the case of a powder bath. what are we going to do on the powder bath door? Maybe the
Oh.
primary suite door, rooms that you want privacy. Maybe a
100%.
home office door where you're going to be on the phone talking.
calls.
You're an attorney. You're going to be talking about private information.
Yeah, definitely do a solid door. Also, builders now don't insulate the interior walls of homes. I insulated around all of my bathrooms just
Yeah.
because that's people.
Request that,
yeah,
everyone.
people
Request
deserve
insulation
privacy.
around your bathroom.
Yes.
So I
Right,
mean,
bathrooms.
that's
Give
a
us
hollow
privacy.
wall. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, but-
Hollow wall.
yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
So I would say yes, both of those. The people coming to your house and using the restroom deserve their privacy. So
I agree.
yes,
I think
yeah.
that's very classy, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
A hollow core door is essentially, it's like glorified paper.
Mhm.
It really is.
So if you're living in a home right now and you wish there was more privacy, you might just need to update the door.
Yep.
Yep.
And do a couple of them at a time if that's all you can afford. Make those ones important and then do the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the main floor.
Yeah.
Let those wild kids in the
I will
basement
say-
live with the hollow corridors.
I will say that those hollow core doors, like with hardware
Uh-huh.
and rough children, the hardware detaches from the hollow core door and there's splinters. I will say that because I have really rough boys
Yeah.
and they like slam and they pull and they yank and they ding like walls.
Uh-huh.
And I swear they're good kids, but they're just boys. Anyway, the hollow core, I cannot wait to replace them with solid core because right now everything looks terrible because of the damn hollow core door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the hardware looks bad. Like everything just like is like a glory for no one.
Yeah.
Absolute the worst.
Yeah.
The worst.
Yeah.
You heard
Yeah.
it here. Don't
Okay.
do it.
Last one. Would you ever do a barn door as an interior door today in the year almost 2025?
No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That ship sailed long ago.
That chip
in my
sailed a
opinion.
long time
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
We did one cool, I'm not even call it a barn door. I'm going to call it like an architectural digest moment
Oh.
with like, and it was an art piece from, and it really was an issue of a door swing too, because we didn't want an interior door swing into the bathroom and I didn't want it into the bedroom. And so we did a very, very slick rail where you cannot see like wheels running on the track.
That's my biggest issue
That's
is the hardware.
worst thing. I'm just
I've got-
like,
Yeah.
I've got a visual
It's-
for
Thank
that
you.
one.
It's almost like
Bennett.
it's almost like a pocket door, but it's not inside of the wall.
unless you're farming and you pulled something from the farm to put it up on a barn door, you don't deserve a barn door. And none of us should. But this was a really slick, beautiful rail. And this was an art piece of like all these antique books that were shellacked onto this thing. And that is how we made this circumstance.
And you
formidable.
don't even look at it and think barn door. You just think art
No,
installation
It's
on a
art
rail.
installation on a rail. It
Yeah.
looks like it's, yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
This is, I give
This
you
is the
permission
exception to the rule.
to that.
Yeah.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
other than that, no.
You guys, you have made it through interior.
Woo!
all about
Send you for a
doors.
certificate or something.
All about doors part 1. Yes, you get a certificate, and then when you pass doors part 2, you are going to graduate from door school with Corey Place.
Yeah.
And then join us Doors Part 3 2.0.
Yes.
On
Exactly.
the next episode.
Yes, exactly. But first, I want to thank you guys for writing in, just like Sophia did today. If you guys have any episode ideas, we want to hear them. So you can email us at dearalice@alicelanehome.com. And we want to remind everyone we have a free design service available to help you find new furniture if you're furnishing your home. We're going to get you the perfect rug at the perfect size, curate perfect art pieces for that room. You can reach out to help to our website at alicelanehome.com and visit our design services tab. Sue, Corey, would you add anything to that about the home furnishing design?
No.
No, I
Service.
just think it's really, if you are looking for furniture and you need to phone a friend, this is a really great thing because it's the worst to get a piece of furniture that you're like, that looks awesome in the store, and you get it in your house and it doesn't fit,
Mm-hmm.
or the rug's too small and you're like, gosh, dang it. Why? I wish I had someone. This is why the program was made, so that like you could be confident in your decisions, on these really big investment pieces. So-
Totally. Also, what's been really popular is there's so many rooms that don't have a standard size rug that fits it. We custom make a lot of the rugs that we design in any size, and we can choose any palm. So if you have a weird shaped room and you need like a 10 by 10 or something that's not programmed, these guys are constantly making custom rugs for folks, and we can help solve that issue too. So really great. Whatever you need, they can help you. They're on standby. Use the program. It's awesome. Thanks for listening to Dear Alice. We will catch you next time. thanks for listening. If you like our show, please leave a 5-star rating.